Happy Sabbath. For those of you who haven't said it, I was downstairs. The topic today is called infection protection. And we are indeed wonderfully and fearfully made, as it says in Psalms 139. When I was in college, and this has been many years, immunology, the study of the immune system, was one of the hardest classes I took. Just basically how the immune system functions. And I'm sure there's a lot of research that's being done ever since then. And I would encourage, if there's something that you haven't had look into it, how the immune system works, get into any book or go online, and it would just draw you closer to God because you understand how He actually made us to be protected, despite the sinful world that we are. I can barely touch the surface here, and it will also help all of us to make wise choices because we are in a world that is full of evil. There's different things that we have to take in, take out, and make choices, so that will help us understand how our body functions. Next slide, please. Okay, so basically, the system is designed so that it can protect from attacks, from small things like bacteria, viruses, also to defend against, things there are besides those that I mentioned, and like toxins. And of course, if you have injury, it's supposed to heal it from the injury so that it can keep maintaining the system. When the system is working properly, of course, you'll be able to just have the normal functions, digestion, walking, exercise, all that stuff is okay. But when the system is not working properly, then of course, you won't be able to function as you would be able to. Next slide. So basically, any virus or bacteria, when it strikes a cell, the body, there's many different mechanisms, but the main one is going to activate the cell, and a substance called interferons, think about the verb interfere, is going to be synthesized. So the interferons are one of the main important things of the cell system to protect, because it's going to come out of the cell that has been infected with the viruses. It's going to go into the blood system, and it's going to tell different cells around, there's a virus going on there. You need to protect yourself. You need to find ways to protect your layer so that, the virus doesn't come in. It also helps the cell to synthesize a protection layer. And it also helps to activate all the cells to make a memory cell so that the next time around, the same virus or something similar comes, maybe later on, so that your body won't be caught by surprise. So usually, the healthier the person is, the more interferons they're going to be able to synthesize. And this, especially in COVID, difficult viruses like COVID, HIV, it's a really big deal. When we talk about COVID, what happens is that, unfortunately, by the time you actually have your symptoms, the body is very weakened already because the virus itself likes to shut down the interferon system. So, okay, we'll talk about what can we do, right? So that you can help your body to keep going with the interferons. Next slide, please. The question is, why do some people's immune systems are able to rise up and fight off viruses when other people doesn't seem to be able to do as fast? Just like I mentioned, because they have plenty of interference in their bodies, they can, at the start of the infection. Now, the second question, well, if I have a strong immune system, doesn't that mean that I will have a stronger cytokine storm? Now, I didn't have a chance to put a slide about the cytokine storm, but this is when somebody has already underlying conditions, and the body is having an overdrive of the cytokines that are being produced as it tries to defend. So it gets to become hyperinflamed. So, for example, if you have high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, renal diseases, autoimmune disorders, then you're more likely to develop this kind of cytokine storms. And the answer to the question, no, a stronger and healthier immune system will recognize and fight the infection earlier, so you'll prevent the body from falling behind. Next slide. please. And we all been heard it before that for the most part, research has demonstrated that the people that had the worst case of COVID were people who already had issues, comorbidity issues prior to COVID, which I already mentioned: hypertension, renal disease, cancer, dementia, and even dementia. So the body was already compromised by inflammation, and which will trigger cytokine storms, and then the list goes down that way. And so the question for us, and that's one of the reasons why we're going through this book, is this is the part where we can, right, that God has given us a chance to do, to take care of our bodies, and that usually means lifestyle choices, so that we can diminish those things that are over there, and then of course we can boost our immune system. Our next slide. So as we wrap up here, the choices that we can make to make a strong immune system, we do have a couple of supplements that we all been heard about it, but I'll just mention it briefly. A few of them. One of the main ones over there is NAC, which stands for acetylcysteine. And basically, this one helps us to create glutathione, which are very important for the immune system support. It's very helpful for the lungs, and it reduces inflammation. So I would encourage everyone actually to have NAC at home. And as soon as you see like a sore throat or like a fever coming out, I would double the dose. It's pretty safe. It's very, very. We do it all the time in our house. If I see that something is coming out, and I'll take 2-3 pills, it definitely makes your infection a lot less strong. The second one is called selenium. This is a trace mineral that is found in high amounts of certain things, especially Brazil nuts, whole grains, and seeds. But and it helps with just viral mutations. So that's a really good one too. And vitamin D, of course, we've been talking a lot about it. It's a hormone. It helps to decrease the inflammation of your body. Zinc is also a trace mineral. And melatonin, it's over there as, I know a lot of people use it for sleeping, but it also helps with decreased inflammation, and it's also antioxidant. So our last slide. Our action plan is for us to consider seriously how is our immune system. Are we getting sick very often? And what can we do about it to make our immune system stronger? Is there any underlying conditions that we already been carrying in ourselves or in our families so that we can take care of it? And do some research on the supplements that were mentioned. And I won't mention too much about immunizations because it's a hot topic, but if you are immunized, there's a lot of studies that have been shown that it completely doesn't take care of the problem of COVID. And of course, we know the lifestyle choices are ultimately what's going to protect us from all the other kinds of things anyway, issues that we know about it. God bless you.